is this what it is? Is this growth? Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here in this space. I feel like it's only right that I formally reintroduce myself. My name is Nyajel and I am redefining myself as what I like to call a life design creator. I am here to share everything about living your life intentionally, designing the life that you desire, and just showcasing my process along the way and hoping to inspire you if you are on the same journey. I'm just returning to YouTube after being away for about 2 years, which is so wild to think about. If you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I was formerly on here doing beauty and lifestyle content, but I took a step back to focus on my personal life. I also wanted to explore a different career path, and so I kind of took a step back from YouTube and took a little bit of time to rediscover what it is that I wanted to do. I've already uploaded a couple videos and have already been connecting with you guys, and it feels so good to know that you guys are still here. So excited for all of the new viewers that I will be gaining as I continue to post on this platform. So in this time away, I've been on my own journey of self-prioritization and self-reinvention. And in that journey, it kind of brought me back to like this underlying current of a belief that I've always had in my life. And that's about how much creative power I have over my life and the things that I want to see in my life. We can get so wrapped up in the things that go on that you kind of forget your power when it comes to designing the life you want. And that's really where this whole idea came from. For as long as I can remember, I always categorized my life into like different aspects, especially when it came to planning what I want to see in each aspect of my life, whether it's financially, spiritually, personally, career-wise. Regardless of what it is, it's just a lot easier for me when I categorize it in that way. And so a lot of the content that I'm going to be sharing is going to be around how you can design your life in each of those aspects. So today I just wanted to sit down and talk about all of that. I've got my glass of wine and let's go ahead and get into today's conversation. So like I mentioned, I've been off of YouTube for about 2 years, and in that time frame, when I was really trying to figure out what career direction I wanted to go in, I feel like content was always one of those things that I enjoyed. Like it was like something that started as a hobby. I started my channel, my very first upload was in January of 2015. I started because I was on YouTube and I was trying to learn how to do makeup, but I never saw any girls who were my skin complexion. So that's where I started out doing YouTube, where I was getting products for myself, my skin tone, and then sharing what those look like for girls who look like me. And so that's where my journey started on YouTube. So I was on YouTube during the height of like the beauty influencer, like the beauty guru era. And I found myself getting to a point where like I wasn't doing makeup the same way. And I saw that change for a lot of people, but I didn't really know where I wanted to pivot after that. Alongside of that, I had a lot of things happening in my personal life, in my relationship, thinking about new careers. At this point, I decided to get my license and I became a realtor. I'm still licensed here in Houston. I just recently signed with a new brokerage this past summer. And so I'm really transitioning into a different phase when it comes to that as well. But I knew YouTube was always one of those things that I was going to come back to because it was just the underlying creative element in my life. I never wanted YouTube to be like just like a business for me. It was something that started because I really and truly cared for it. And so during these past couple of years, with all of the different things that have happened in my life, I have kind of gotten to a point where I needed to do a little bit of rediscovery. I needed to refigure out like, who am I? Where am I going? What do I want to do? What do I like? What do I dislike? I feel like it's something that naturally happens to us in life. And I don't know if it's just that I'm now entering my 30s. I don't know what it is, but it definitely like caught me a little off guard. And it felt like there was a lot of things that were like unfamiliar in my world. Like things just felt different. I guess it wasn't necessarily that there was totally new things. It was just, I felt so differently about things. And I think that's just an aspect of life. That's just what happens as we change and we develop. And so it put me into this space where I needed to rediscover what it is that I want my life to look like. And so I had to go back to square one. I was like, okay, where am I at financially? Where am I at spiritually? Where am I at mentally? Where am I at, period? And I had to basically rediscover what that looked like or what I wanted it to look like. And so as we go along on my channel, I'm definitely going to share like in detail some of the things that I did to get down to figuring out what it is that I wanted. And right now I'm in that journey of like starting that. And so I felt like it was like the perfect time for me to come back on YouTube, where I had this sense of like a new direction that I was going in and something that I feel like I'm so passionate about, but also something that I can showcase alongside my viewers. And it's not just something that I'm like sharing or preaching, but it's something that you guys can actively see me doing as I go along on my channel. I've always loved content creation and being on social media and connecting with different people, but I feel like I wasn't very intentional with what I was posting. After not really being as connected with what I was doing previously, I felt like a lot of my content was kind of becoming aimless. Like I wasn't doing it with intention. And that's like the biggest thing that I wanted to shift now that I'm in this new space of like really knowing what it is that I want to share. I just feel like I'm coming with like a fresh perspective and like something that I can really speak to because it's something that's really happening in my life. I'm definitely still all about like the cute and aesthetic content, but I definitely want my content to feel valuable, because even the content that I'm watching right now is like, okay, it can be a cute video, but like if I'm not learning anything, if there's no value, I'm gonna click off. Like that's just the honest truth. I'm gonna click off. And I don't want my channel to be that for other people. Even if I add the cute aesthetics, I still want you to walk away with some sort of value. And honestly, I want my channel to feel like a very collaborative space. Like I don't really care so much about the number of subscribers. I don't care about the number of views. I just wanna know that like in my comment section or wherever I'm able to connect with whoever is watching this video, I know that somebody is gaining some sort of value and they can apply it in their life. And I feel like the direction that I wanna go and the things that I wanna share are things that can be implemented by anybody. That's probably one of the biggest things that I did miss about social media in this aspect, is the sense of community. So if you're watching this video right now, thank you. I appreciate you. And I really do hope that you stay as a community member and that you really find value in anything that I share on this channel. And if you do choose to stay and be a part of this community, then here you can expect me to talk about a lot of different things that have to do with lifestyle, with mindset, personal branding, and overall what I'm calling life design. So I am talking all about self-discovery, figuring out who you truly are, and aligning that with your lifestyle. We're basically curating your reality, or making everything about every part of your life feel like you. And with all of that comes mindset shifts and personal development, personal growth, and just moving with confidence and intention with everything you do. But I also want to talk about the real stuff, because it's not easy. You have to do a lot of unlearning and relearning and a lot of inner work. So it's not always going to be the cute aesthetics, but I feel like that's what makes it impactful. It's things that actually change you and move you. It's not just about the aesthetics, but it's really the things that are going to change your inner world. That way you can change your outer world. I think we can sometimes get stuck in our old identities and we try to grasp onto like what we're familiar with. So even though God might be calling for you to step into like a new version of yourself, because it feels uncomfortable, we try to grasp for the old. And we have to shift in order to change and in order to improve and to grow. In these past couple of years, God has really required me to shift my identity. And he did that by changing how some of the different aspects of my life looked. Like some of the areas of my life that I'll just name right now that I felt were looking so differently than what I was used to. And I wasn't quite sure why. When I think back about it now, I feel like I maneuvered in a way where like I innately kind of knew why, but outwardly and like in my ego and just, you know, my overall, like I'm human, and I feel like I was a little like confused, like why is all this stuff happening? I feel like in the area of friendships, God really required me to look at my social circle very, very differently. And I feel like he kind of exposed me to, one, the expectations that I had out of other people that I maybe didn't see when it was time to see those things. And also like the way that I possibly was not showing up for people the way that they needed me to. And just the overall disconnect in friendships, it really opened my eyes to how much more intentional I want to be when it comes to friendships. My mom always tells us like, you don't need friends, you have sisters, right? And like, I'm so grateful for my sisters and the relationship that I have, but you do have to have friendships. It is important to have some sort of sisterhood with other people who are not your family members, because you gain a different perspective and they're able to kind of just like assist you in a way that your family can't, or maybe just in just a different way. I need to be in friendships where I have my expectations from a friend met, but I am also meeting the expectations of my friends. And I want to be in relationships that feel very intentional. Like we're not just existing in each other's lives to exist. Now, granted, I do believe that you can have like categorized friends, meaning like I have friends who are just social friends that I go out with, professional friends or acquaintances, and then I have friends that are like, girl, come to my house, lay on the couch and do what you're doing while I'm doing what I'm doing. And really just that friend that's gonna grow with you in the new dynamics of life. I do also believe that friendships go through different dynamics. Like sometimes you're gonna be very locked in, very close, and I realize that sometimes you are gonna drift apart. I don't think that it means you have to end a friendship, but I do think it means like maybe that time, maybe that absence is just for each of you to individually learn about yourselves again, figure out the direction you wanna go in your lives. And I really do believe that in any friendship that's a real friendship, you'll find a time to come back together. And at that time, things will end up being what they were always supposed to be, but from a newer and more grown space. But during this recent time, I feel like I needed to be like kind of in a space of isolation to go into my own little world and just figure out all these different things for myself. Like people who I typically would lean on, yes, I leaned on them when I really needed it, when I really felt like I was going through it, but I felt like I really had to like trust myself and just go off of the confidence that I have on God and on myself. I feel like on the other side of it now, it feels really good to be here because I've learned so much, not just about myself, but about the world. I feel like my perspective has changed, and I think that's just growth. I think like that's just what happens as we grow up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I like, is this what it is? Is this growth? Is this what growing up means? Because wow, like, okay, people always tell us, but until we end up in the positions ourselves, we don't realize what it is that like our mothers or our aunties or the people older than us are telling us. But once you're there, you're like, okay, so this is what y'all meant. Another area of my life that I needed to take a step back on and think about is in my career. I am somebody who loves to be creative. I love to have flexibility when it comes to my job. But with that comes career paths that are not as stable, that are not as concrete, like real estate, like content creation. But I feel like I wanted to really challenge myself. And so when I moved to Houston, I decided that I wasn't gonna be going back to a 9-to-5. Now, granted, God has blessed me where some way, somehow I've been able to be out of a 9-to-5 since I moved here, which was in end of 2019. So basically since 2020, I've been like kind of on my own figuring things out in this way. Now, I'm very blessed to be able to have the assistance that I need when I need it, but I'm somebody who needs to have my own thing that I'm doing. I need to have something that is going for myself, not off of anybody else. And so when I decided to venture into real estate, it was a career path that I knew was going to require a lot of work. But I feel like my journey has taught me just how patient I can be and need to be, but also just how much like perseverance I have, even when things are not looking like how I want them to look like. And that has caused a lot of like, at some points, inner turmoil. If I'm being honest, it's caused a little bit of like, okay, I'm like, am I good at this? Am I not supposed to be doing this? Like, what's going on here? And then I'll have experiences that are like, you are good at this and you are doing well and you're getting amazing feedback and you're closing deals that like you're getting the feedback from your clients that, you know, you're doing a great job. But I feel like sometimes when we want something to look a certain way and it doesn't look that way in our timeline, we start to question ourselves. We just start to get into this negative space. And I feel like I was beginning to get into that space with real estate. I don't want to knock anybody else's hustle in any way, but I didn't feel like I was really a realtor until I got into residential. Like, I just didn't feel like I could call myself a realtor for real until I sold a house. But that's a major aspect of my life that I am actively working on right now. And that is like one of the biggest driving forces for me, like getting into this place of like rediscovery. Like, what do I want my life to look like? And a lot of that is around what it is that I'm gonna do as my life's passion. Outside of getting on YouTube and sharing that with you guys, like I'm still in that rediscovery phase. But real estate is definitely still a part of my life. It's still something that I'm doing now. It's still something that I can assist with. Before doing social media, before going into real estate, I always had something very consistent. When I was working in banking, I was always like very consistent in what I was doing. A lot of things flowed a lot easier. I had income that was coming in a lot more consistently. And so I feel like that part of my identity was not very questionable for me at all. But being in the space of going after more entrepreneurial jobs or careers or passions, it's just such a space that really does make you question yourself. I was having a little bit of like imposter syndrome. Like, I'm like, am I really who I think I am? Like, am I really? And I know at my core that I am, but like the evidence that I needed to see to really feel 100% that way, I wasn't seeing it at the pace that I wanted to. And so it kind of put me in a space of questioning, but like, you are who you think you are. Like, I believe that if you are actively working towards anything in your life, then you really are who you are. I think the moment that you give up on yourself is when you aren't who you are. But if you are actively seeking these goals and going after these passions, then I really do believe you are who you think you are. You just have to believe it. You don't need permission to reset, to reinvent, or to elevate yourself in any way. You basically just have to make the decision that you're gonna do it. So I am personally fully recommitting to this, and I hope that if you are on this path, that you will find some value in these videos. I'll have some deep dives that will go into different topics when it comes to designing the life that you want. But overall, I am just so excited to be back on YouTube and just like doing something that I love. This is definitely one of those things that feels like a part of my identity. And so being here, sitting here, talking to you guys is definitely giving me that sense of like, yes, This is me. I can't wait to be sharing more information with you guys around how to design your life, how to transform, how to step into your new identity, and all of the things that come with that. And if you're in this space right now, please let me know down below, what season are you in? What are you currently trying to bring into your life? What is the identity you're trying to step into? Please share that down below in the comment section. Thank you for staying tuned to this little chit chat. If you are new to this channel, again, thank you so much for watching and welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for staying tuned and coming back to view another video. If anything resonated with you, please let me know down in the comment section. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.